Need to reach around and commit that foul. She's got good length. Just use those feet and play defense.
Into Blackford, double teamed. Number 2 is Ajanique Mayo. Neek, they call her.
Great help side defense from Jordan King to make the shooter put up a shot that wasn't real pretty.
Kenzie Hare going full speed, lost the handle, and Xavier was there to take it back, and Forbes takes it right back.
And that's why she's out on the court, to use that length to her advantage. Oh, pretty.
Carlin cleaning up her own mess and then misses the second time. Yeah, the pass was pretty, but no finish for Liza with 2 tries. We stay tied at 10. Blackford. Forbes with those long arms protecting the paint. And then a collision and a foul going to be called on Nkumu.
I'm surprised Nyla Blackford is not challenging Skylar Forbes. Skylar's a freshman. She doesn't have a ton of experience yet playing in the Big East. And Blackford needs to go right after her. But you also have Liza Carlin in the paint, shading off of her player to help out in case Blackford does attack the rim.
Anaya Harris is in there, 23 for Xavier. And then a bounce feed by Purvis to no one in particular. Turnover, Musketeers. Marquette goes quick the other way. Abby Cracknell is in there, the Aussie for Marquette with the basketball. Drive, bounce feed, and only Xavier players were there. Turnover Marquette.
Right idea, but Abby's got to make sure that Carlin has cleared the space and she can actually catch that ball. I'm surprised Cracknell didn't take it up and try to draw a foul.
Purvis. In the corner, Harris. Launches, rims off, Cracknell the board. Abby leads the break. Off to King for 3. No. Harris tracks it down. We've been stuck on 10-10 here for some time. Under 4 to go in the first. Mayo to Blackford, who squares up. Now she works on Forbes. Little shimmy there, and then back off to Purvis. 10 to shoot. Back down, kick it. Mayo. 3 in the shot clock. Carlin on the floor. Bodies on the floor. Shot clock goes off. Marquette basketball.
Marquette's defense has really stepped it up a notch, but Xavier's offensive plays have been so muddled. They are bouncing off of each other. They're not giving each other the space that they saw when they went out to that 8-0 early lead.
I call that bumper cars as Kasia Woods returns for the Musketeers. And Kumu Hottinger checks back in for Marquette.
Xavier is playing a zone. They went away from their man-to-man. Trying to keep Marquette out of the paint. That doesn't stop Hottinger from driving that baseline.
And she drives and then gets called for the plow job on the baseline. Gonna go against Franny, as Harris got there to absorb the contact.
A good help side defense and rotating over to take that charge.
Still 10-10. Defense ratcheting up on both sides of the floor. Drive and then thrown away, but Marquette got a fingernail on it, so stay with Xavier. 14 to shoot.
When Skylar Forbes rotated over to cut off the drive of Xavier, and she forced that pass to go out of bounds off of Marquette's hands. There's only 10 on the shot clock for the Musketeers.
Purvis moving bodies around and then tossed away right into the hands of Nkumu. Rose with it. Cracknell in front of the Xavier bench. King drives, misses. Ran out of real estate underneath. Back the other way, Mayo. Off to Woods. That's another freshman, big center from the Republic of Georgia, Lika Kavirkavelia. Last time you heard me say that.
Very eloquent, Bob.
Thank
nice
you.
job.
I asked Billy Chambers earlier this week. I go, how do you? He said Kavirkavelia. She goes, yeah, I think so. She says, we just call her Lika.
Well, and isn't that how they do it in soccer?
Mm-hmm.
International soccer, they go by their first
right.
name.
So
yeah.
Shout out to the action on the pitch. Lee Volker's in there.
Nice pass.
And then Forbes with the finish. Nice pass and finish. Marquette has the lead for the first time today.
That's the spacing that Marquette needs and the balance to start racking up some points. 12-10.
Lika. And then Rose, as per usual, gets a piece of it. Always ahead on a swivel in the passing lanes to disrupt things. Back in comes the other talented freshman, Lopez. She's from Spain. Daniela, by the way, is averaging over 33 minutes per game. They ask her to do everything and do a lot of it for a long time, and only a freshman. 8 to shoot. Lika shoots, just grazes the iron. Here comes Mackenzie Hare. And a reaching foul there on the way back, called on Raj. Carlin returns to replace Forbes from Marquette. And Taylor Smith, the old Miss transfer after 3 years with the Rebels, is in for Xavier. So after that 8-0 Xavier start, Marquette has outscored the Musketeers 12-2. Volker thought about it.
Marquette running their zone offense right now. They need to stay balanced, make good passes, make this defense move.
Carlin twists and turns her way for a little baby hook shot and a foul called on Xavier underneath.
Great move by Carlin. She just didn't square up to that basket, and that's why the ball went off to the right side. Great pass. She works around her defense, but again, not squared up to that basket. So she was off to that right side.
Jordan King in for Nkumu. She'll trigger here. 1:02 to go in the first. Quick trigger to Volker. Up and over everything. Here come the Musketeers and Raj. Xavier spacing it out. Off to Lopez. Blackford. And travel, she dragged the pivot foot. Another turnover on Xavier. That's their 9th here in the first quarter. And that's how you offset that 8-0 start, by playing giveaway.
Yeah, and ramping up your defense, and Xavier just out of sorts again in their offense.
Good ball swing. King took a peek, now drives. Off the rim. Carlin had it poked away, so Marquette will keep it. 20 on the shot clock, 24 on the game clock.
That's one thing I love about Jordan King, is even though she has been missing a lot of shots, she's going to continue to create opportunities for herself, but also her teammates, and she's going to keep that positive attitude and continue to work hard.
And Megan Duffy discussed that earlier this week, said we have so much balance offensively that Jordan doesn't have to carry the heavy load. Off to Carlin. Rimmed it off.
Great job crashing the boards with Xavier.
Xavier crashing into each other. Another turnover, the 10th for the Musketeers. Volker out to King for 3. That one rims off. And it's going to be 12-10 Marquette after one period. A lot of turnovers, a lot of defense, a lot of back and forth. And the Golden Eagles will take a 2-point lead into the second quarter. Marquette 12, Xavier 10. You're watching women's college basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
Fresh, warm hot dogs.
When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Mom! Yeah. So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University, be the difference.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change, to champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice. To make an impact as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right, and most importantly,
to be the change.
To be the change.
Model a little bit after what we did at Iona. Really defensive-minded team that likes to disrupt the other team and shift them into option 2, option 3, and just be incredibly disciplined in what we do defensively. So that allows us to play an offensive style where we share the ball. And there's a lot of individual accountability. It's a lot of passing and cutting. So we should find open opportunities, and you've got to knock down the open shot. So our women have been working incredibly hard to adjust to the style that we want to play. It's much different from what I think many people are used to. But hopefully that's one we're putting on the floor and one we're super proud of this season.
Yeah, Billy Chambers, I asked her, why take this job? You knew it was going to be a rebuild. She spent 10 years as the head coach at Iona, took the Gales to the NCAA. 2 of those 10 as Mackenzie Hare bangs down to 3 to start the second quarter. And Billy said, you know what? It's the challenge. The challenge is the challenge to come in and get this program back to where it was just a few years ago when they were a contender. They were in the top half of the Big East. And so, yes, there's going to be bumps. They've been ravaged by injuries, Michelle, the Musketeers have. So it's hard for Billy to get a grasp on what the starting 5 and what the bench and what all the role players should look like when you've got so many banged-up bodies.
Right, they lost their top scorer, and Michaela Scarlett. She's out indefinitely due to a knee and ankle injury. And then in December, early December, Shelby Calhoun, the senior guard, went down, and now she's out for the season. So 2 of your senior leaders and your top scorer gone. And you have to rely on those other players to step up. And Daniela Lopez, Bob, you mentioned the freshman carrying a heavy load, playing a lot of minutes, and she's leading her team right now with 5 points.
Yeah, that's by default. Again, you're going with the healthy bodies, the ones that can give you minutes. Second quarter underway, Marquette by 5. Heidinger, bounce feed to Carlin, beautiful, and perfect finish as well.
And normally Jordan King would take that shot in the corner, but she knew, hey, I'm not on right now. We're going to keep working this offense to find the higher percentage shot, and that's exactly what Marquette did to Carlin.
Blackford was backing down and then bounced it off her foot. Another turnover on the Musketeers, number 12.
Kenzie Hare, I absolutely love this sophomore. She's been working really hard on defense, and there's typical Eliza Carlin there with the basket. But going back to Kenzie Hare, she's not only hitting the 3-pointers, but she's getting to the rim. She's playing tough defense.
Timeout Xavier. Why? It was 12-10 after 1. It's now 19-10 as we kickstart quarter number 2. You're watching women's college basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
Setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Marquette University, be the difference.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice to make it happen as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right. And most importantly,
To be the change.
to be the change.
You may have noticed some splashes of purple in the crowd this afternoon. That's because Marquette is hosting a Wheatback Hat game here at the Al McGuire Center. This was started back in 2012 in the SEC to show support for legendary Tennessee Lady Vols head basketball coach Pat Summitt after her diagnosis of early onset dementia, the Alzheimer's type. And then schools like Marquette, their players, Megan Duffy, the whole crew, sporting the purple for Wheatback Pat. Such an important figurehead and legendary name in women's college basketball, to be sure. Marquette out of the gates with a purpose here in the second quarter. 8 unanswered. Xavier, remember, started this game leading at 8-0. Purvis pull up in front of Volker, doesn't go. Rebound doesn't go a second time by Lika, and then a foul called on Marquette.
One of the positives that we're seeing for Xavier is they are crashing the boards. They're actually leading Marquette in the rebound total. And it was Lika, number 13, banging away down below, and she gets 2 shots from the free throw line.
You're not going to try it?
No.
Kavir Kavelia.
Kavir Kavelia.
Yeah, Republic of Georgia. She's started 3 contests this year for the Musketeers. Billy Chambers says she's a sponge. She absorbs so much of the collegiate American game and has been all ears the freshman. Split the free throw. Marquette lead is 9. King in a hurry the other way. And then McKenzie, OB in the corner. Turnover Marquette. That's number 5 for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, a little too fast for my liking there. Marquette wants to play that up-tempo offense, but sometimes you just can't go faster than your body can go.
Into Lika, it was too much on the pass from Purvis. Marquette will take it. King, pull up from the free throw line. In and out. Carlin there, crashing the boards offensively.
Yeah, Lika not getting a body on Carlin. Carlin jumping up to meet that ball, keeping it above her head and putting it back in for 2.
Liza with 9. Marquette lead is 11. Almost a turnover. Lika says, I don't want the basketball. Finally finds Woods. Lopez looking inside. No bodies were there at all. Everyone's spread outside the arc for the Musketeers. 2 to shoot. Purvis does. Finds the rim, but that was it. Here's King the other way. Jordan, bounce feed, squeezes it into Carlin. Boy, Liza's had some terrific looks, and the hoop is rejecting it on the Marquette end.
Well, and I don't know if Liza was ready for that bounce pass because it happened kind of the last minute. I thought King was going to take it up with her left hand.
Forbes on Lika.
Marquette's defense in those passing lanes. Again, Xavier struggling to get any sort of offensive flow.
And the foul called on Volker on the drive by Taylor Purvis. And Kuma returns for Marquette. Mayo and Raj back in for the Musketeers. They've been held without a field goal for, well into the first period. Little bounce feed. And it was a 50-50 ball, and Marquette wrestles it away.
Well, and don't you just love the excitement of Coach Duffy on that bench? Like, she's right there, almost in the action, you know, giving Liza Carlin an earful. Get on that ball. Here, watch Duffy get in there. I mean, that is Coach Duffy, and that's how she elevates her players to keep playing with intensity.
If Liza doesn't, then Megan will jump in, go back to her playing days at Notre Dame and force the jump ball. It'd be worth it.
And I think we saw something very similar from Shaka Smart in one of the last Marquette men's games as I was watching the podcast at the dinner table with the Marada crew.
Carlin missed on the cleanup of the Mackenzie Hare shot that didn't go in. So empty trip for Marquette. They lead it by 11 here. Harris, nice feed back door. Mayo gathered it. Schubert takes the 3. It's off. And Kuma leads the break. Forbes stutter steps. Turnover Marquette, number 6.
Now she is going to be fun to watch as Skylar Forbes continues to develop not only her skill set, but her confidence as she gets more playing time in the Big East. If Skylar Forbes sticks around Marquette, I think she's going to be one of the go-to players down the road.
Claire Kafez is in, the veteran for Marquette. King on Raj. Lopez. Twisting, turning, and traveling. Another turnover. That's number 15. In their last game, Xavier fell at Villanova 86-45. Villanova caused 32 turnovers by Xavier as Kafez connects on the other end. And the run, tack on a couple more to that run.
And when you come off the bench like Claire Kafez just did, you have to be ready to go. Shooters shoot the ball. She got in her shooting pocket. A lot of confidence in number 10.
Trying to squirm through the defense there was Raj, and the foul called. It'll go against Jordan King. I mentioned the turnovers at Villanova, 32. That's been a bugaboo for Billy Chambers as she tries to cobble this squad together. Got to take care of the basketball, got to play better defense. She says if we do those two things, the offense will come, but the other two things have to be a priority. As that ball goes up and out of play.
And I think for Xavier, it's learning about knowing what you're going to do before you start moving.
King for 3 is off the rim.
Because a lot of times they're moving and not even knowing where their teammates are or what exactly is going to happen.
Harris going to drive on Forbes. Skylar cuts her off. 10 on the shot clock here as Raj resets the offense. And a nice scoop. Julia Garcia Raj goes around Skylar Forbes for the bucket. Kay Fez answers on the other end with a 3. So Claire, sniper off the bench for Megan Duffy.
Well, Coach Duffy knows when she puts number 10 in the game, she knows that Claire's going to play with a lot of heart, a lot of determination, and she's going to put everything out there because she doesn't get a lot of minutes all the time.
Mayo missed the 3. Kay Fez with the feed inside on a foul called on Xavier.
Yeah, Lopez matched up with Liza Carlin. That's a tough matchup. As Liza, we've seen her in the paint a lot today, but Liza's really good at extending defenses, and she's got a great elbow shot from about 18 feet. She can even pop the three-pointer from time to time.
Quick inbound to Skylar Forbes for the finish. Forbes with 4. Marquette lead is 16. 3 ball, not there for Smith.
When Xavier not even crashing the boards, they're getting right back on defense because they know Marquette loves to move.
And 3-second violation. Skylar camping out in the lane a little too long. This Xavier squad had to postpone 2 games in December. 1 game at Arizona State and then back home against Oakland. They're hoping to make up that game with the Golden Grizzlies at some point. But the reason, because of all the injuries, they were down to 6 healthy players. And that ain't gonna work. That's dangerous to try to go out there with 6. And so they didn't decide to go to war with only 6 healthy bodies as Harris goes in, lost the handle. Into Carlin, Liza on the finish, no! How did that ball pop out? It was halfway down. It'll stay with Marquette. Boy, that has happened to Liza a lot this afternoon. You can tell she's frustrated saying, hey, it's my home court. Give me a little love. And Kumu to trigger. Here, try Liza again and to try to get those points from the free throw line.
The first pass wasn't there from Hare, so she just took a couple dribbles to her left and bounce pass into Carlin, and Liza again really battling down low today.
Liza now in double figures. Join Megan McCaffrey, Kim Adams, Isis Young, Lisa Carlin as they take you inside Big East women's basketball each week on In the Bonus, the podcast. You can find In the Bonus wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. 31-13, Carlin now with 11 as Lika Kavirkavelia, I'm starting to get it, checks back in for Xavier. Well, give and go to Schubert, who finds the handle. Smith. Back to Harris. And then back to Smith. Kavirkavelia. Poked away on the backside. 5 on the shot clock. Raj through traffic. Little shot put off the window and the rim. Marquette, quick pace, quick trigger. Mackenzie Hare. Tracked down by Lika. Coming down to 2 minutes to go before halftime here in Milwaukee. Raj fighting through the screens. Kavirkavelia. And she traveled.
Great defense by Skylar Forbes, holding her own there. Forcing the turnover.
Raj and Lopez are natives of Spain. We told you Kavirkavelia is from the Republic of Georgia. There's more international bodies coming Xavier's way next year. Allie Weiss is now in there for Marquette, number 22. That ball kicked around off the ankles Xavier with it. 8 TOs now on the Golden Eagles. Carlin got a piece of it there. Lika says, I don't want it. Harris says, I'll take it. And score it.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Kenzie's really elevated her game, especially on defense. She was denying that ball going back to Schubert.
Almost thrown away that time. Schubert climbs the ladder. A minute to go before halftime. Xavier has scored just 3 points. 1 field goal here in the second period. Marquette defense clamping down. And there's a bucket.
Yeah, nice looking shot off that screen by Taylor Smith, the grad student for Xavier.
And Kumu all the way down through the lane.
And nobody on Xavier even stopped the ball. That's like the #1 rule on defense is you got to stop that ball.
And again, that's what Billy Chambers is working with the group. We've got to ratchet up the defense. Once that happens and you make life miserable for your opponents, then other good things can happen. 5 to shoot. Raj and Kumu, no breathing room, and another shot clock violation. So Marquette gets 4 seconds to tack on a couple more here before halftime. And Kumu bounce it off her shoe tips. But it's Marquette, after a slow start, certainly picking up the pace in the first and second quarter to lead this basketball game by 20. It's the Golden Eagles 35 and the Musketeers 15. Halftime activity coming your way on the Big East Digital Network.
And we had some surprising wins as well. I think we saw, a lot. What game or two stuck out to you this weekend?
Yeah, for sure. I thought the DePaul-Georgetown matchup was so timely. I just thought those two playing each other early in the season or early in our conference season was going to be good measuring games for both of them. Yeah. DePaul, a team that is trying to find consistent scoring outside of Anea Peoples. And then Georgetown, a team that we have seen rolling. I mean, I think we were a little shocked in, them dropping a game to Seton Hall the week before because we had thought that they had just come into that game and they were so confident. They started the game, I think they were at a 14-2 lead, but, pulled it out against DePaul, 66-62. Here's the stat to me that is so telling. DePaul only turned the ball over 12 times, which for any coach in the country, turn the ball over 12 times in a 40-minute span is perfect. Every coach is happy. But Georgetown had 20 points off turnovers, which means these turnovers were live ball turnovers, were red zone turnovers that led to easy points for Georgetown. And so I feel like that is the difference in the game is where they were able to capitalize was scoring off of those turnovers. And then, we can't talk enough about Kelsey Ransom. 23 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and 5 steals. What? In 38 minutes of play, just extremely efficient as well. 9 for 16 from the field, also knocked down 4 triples. So Kelsey, to me, is emerging as this just all well-rounded superstar, honestly, in our conference. And I love to see how Coach Haney has been utilizing her in different areas. But that game went down to the wire, 11 lead changes. But really impressed by the way Georgetown was able to pull that out. And I think just for them, you bank on defense, right? As long as your defense travels, you give yourself an opportunity to win. And their defense has been really consistent here. Teams, I would think going into play Georgetown, you're really concerned with your offense. You're really concerned with making the right pass, making the right cut, setting the right screen, because you have to be on point. Otherwise, they're going to blow it up and exploit it.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Looking at another game, this was the big surprise for me. I would say Georgetown winning at DePaul was more of a statement for me. But when I saw this result, I was very surprised. Providence 51, Seton Hall 46.
Yes.
At Seton Hall. That was a shocker for me. Providence wins at Seton Hall for the first time since 2011. I think our most recent podcast, we had Azana Baines on. The Pirates were playing really well since dropping a couple earlier in the season. They had beaten UNLV, who was undefeated in the top 25. You mentioned that Seton Hall game. They were down 21-2 in the first quarter at Georgetown. They came back and won that game. So we were all kind of thinking like, okay, Seton Hall is emerging as the fourth team in the Big East. You have the 3 ranked teams. And then it was looking like Seton Hall was coming for that 4th spot and maybe going to knock off some of the top 3 teams. But Providence came in and beat them. It was defensive numbers in that game. They held Seton Hall to just 23% shooting, 3 of 27 from 3 for the Pirates. A really tough shooting night. And I'm going to see Providence later this weekend. They'll be on FS1. But what's impressive to me is, like, it seems like they're still figuring out rotations. They're having different players step up. They're still without a couple players who were in the starting lineup early. So they have new starters. Like, I'm looking at the box score. Olivia Olson came off the bench. She's been starting, but she played 30 minutes. So Coach Aaron Bath, I think, is still figuring out what's working for us, but they're having different players step up. It was Marta Romero. Sorry, I'm getting her name straight. Marta Morales Romero was the big star for them. She also came in off the bench. She finished with 17, but she was one of 3 players in double figures. Providence also commanded the boards in that game. They were +9 on the board. So this is a really interesting Providence team. A new coach, a bunch of new players stepping up into new roles. This was a shocker for me to see that Seton Hall went down at home, where they have traditionally been very good at home. So I've got my eyes on the Friars.
A lot of people after that win said, "Oh, it's bath time." I was like, "We gotta get that shirt."
Oh, that's good.
That needs to be a shirt.
Yeah, and we need to clap it up for head coach Aaron Bath. That was her first Big East win as a head coach for the week. So congratulations for her. And I do think, Kim, to your point, right, a big deal. The Pirates shooting 23, they shot 23.4% overall. Lowest shooting since a game in 2013 when they shot 2.6%. So I was there. I was at Walsh for the game, and you could see it really, it was just an off day for Seton Hall. We did speak to Azana, though, and that was my first time seeing her play in person in, this season. And she just herself specifically looked great.
Fresh, warm hot dogs. When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Mom! Yeah! So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice to make an impact as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right, and most importantly,
To be the change.
to be the change.
When you look at it this season, you lose a big piece to your puzzle. Chloe Marada. How do you fill the intangibles that Chloe brought to your team?
Yeah, Chloe's career was all based on intangibles. I mean, even she played a lot early on in her career, but then just how her role ended up being as a all-league first-team kid. I mean, big-time scorer, rebounder. But when you know Chloe was all the intangible little things, the charges, the loose balls. So we've kind of approached it with our new team this year is just, kind of by committee. Who can dive on the floor one more time, who can chase down a rebound, because I'm not sure we'll ever find a Chloe Marada. We're looking for her out on the recruiting trail, but just the way she approached the game, she was so hard-nosed, so positive. I don't think anybody particularly is going to, fill that void, but I think it'll be a collective group.
Well, agreed. It's hard to replace a Chloe Marada, but we can find her. The former Golden Eagles standout joining us here in Milwaukee. Back home at the Al McGuire Center. Where you been, Chloe?
I was in Budapest for the last 4 months in Budapest, Hungary, playing professional basketball, which was a great experience. Now I'm back to be glad to be back and, talking about a little bit Marquette Xavier game. It's been a great first half.
So now you're here watching what's going on out there. You break down the first half. What did you see between Xavier and Marquette in the first 20?
Honestly, a lot of sloppy basketball, to say the least. There's about 27 total turnovers between both teams. Marquette, after the first time out, really turned up the defense. They're making it very hard for Xavier to catch the ball right now. And then some travels on the other end. But you know what? We looked down, and Marquette really picked it up offensively as well, knocking down some shots, getting it into the Liza Carlin in the center, and rebounding pretty well defensively. So.
Yeah, and I love watching Liza take it into the paint. Very similar to how you used to play back in the day, banging down there with the big guns. So good to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, around the Big East, women's basketball going on all over the place. Besides here in Milwaukee at the Al McGuire Center, as we check the scoreboard, it's brought to you by Invesco QQQ. Seton Hall, they were a winner over the Butler Bulldogs earlier today, 64-50. Is the final there. Creighton Blue Jays, who were here a short time ago, and Marquette won that game against Creighton. They're going to be in action against DePaul in a good one. And St. John's and Providence will battle this evening on FS1. The Red Storm just knocking off Marquette a couple days ago in Queens, New York. We'll step aside when we come back, get you ready for the second half, including Chloe Marada courtside with us to break it all down. You're watching women's college basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
Fresh, warm hot dogs. When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
There's a fuller picture to bring into focus. A way to live more truthfully, more faithfully, more mindfully, purposefully, thoughtfully, more fully. Because when you open your eyes, when you look around and take in the full picture, you'll discover this is so much more than you ever thought possible.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Mom! Yeah. So I love it.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice to make an impact as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right, and most importantly,
to be the change.
To be the change.
Big East Women's Basketball is brought to you by Invesco QQQ, official ETF of the Big East Conference. Marquette 35, Xavier 15 at the break. Megan Duffy's squad up by a 20-burger here as we get you set for quarter number 3. Chloe Marada, you've seen this before, front and center. Liza Carlin in the first half doing Liza Carlin things, working on a double-double with 11-7.
I really love the way that Franny and Liza have been working together. Xavier back down into a zone, and then they played a little two-man game, high-low action between those two, and when Forbes came in as well with Liza Carlin. So keep going to Liza. She's looking good.
Yeah, Jordan King trying to find her shot. We talked, Michelle, about Jordan. Shooter's going to shoot, but right now Jordan 1 of 11 from the field. That, you got to believe, is going to change her in the second half.
100%. She will find her rhythm. She'll find her shot. But Jordan's doing what Coach Duffy expects Jordan to do. I mean, she's being a leader on the floor. She knows what the team needs in the moment, and she's adapting accordingly.
Yeah, she's dished it a couple times and also come up with a couple of steals. And Marquette looking to get back in the win column here. After suffering 2 consecutive losses, there was some head shaking around the league saying, what's going on with the Golden Eagles, because they won 12 unanswered to start the season. But again, tough opponents on the road out east, UConn with a blitzkrieg in Connecticut, and then St. John's. You talk about shifting from one style of play, Chloe, to another. You're going from UConn to St. John's. That's a whole different animal, isn't it?
And that's what you'll get in the Big East, you know, from different team to different team. And that's a lot about the preparation that both teams had to do to prepare for each other. And St. John's is a tough place to play, you know, and they came down to the wire, and St. John's got the win.
And 57-56, the Red Storm sending Marquette to their second consecutive loss. Jordan King all set to begin quarter number 3 as Ronnie Hottinger will inbound it. The same starting 5 that started this contest for Megan Duffy. Carlin grazes the front of the rim. Here's Schubert the other way for the Musketeers. They only scored 5 points, just 2 field goals in that second period as Marquette clamped down on the D. Drive by Lopez, the freshman. And Schubert. That corner's been a problem, hasn't it?
Couple out of bounds there. I mean, both teams just stepping out of bounds easily in that corner. Is there something over there, Bob?
Checking, and don't think they did a bad paint job or anything.
No, I don't think so either.
But another turnover. That's the 19th turnover on Xavier. Marquette had 9 in the first half. As Chloe mentioned, both teams looking to clean that up here in the second half. Hottinger gets her shot and knocks it down.
The spacing has been key for Marquette on their offense, and they distribute the ball really well. Nobody plays selfish for the Golden Eagles.
Brandy's first points of the afternoon. Blackford, she hasn't scored yet. Blocked by Carlin.
Great defense there by Liza Carlin. She's so long, she can use that length and be smart with it as well.
Here, wide open 3. Guess how that's going to finish?
You would think somebody's going to close out on that. I mean, number 12, you cannot leave her alone on the perimeter. She has such a quick release on that ball.
13 for the sophomore. And Billy Chambers says, I've seen enough. Early stages of the third period, and Marquette extending its lead to 40-15. Back with more from Milwaukee. You're watching women's college basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love. because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Mom! So I left.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University, be the difference.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice to make an impact as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right.
And most importantly,
to be the change.
To be the change.
There's a fuller picture to bring into focus. A way to live more truthfully, more faithfully, more mindfully, purposefully, thoughtfully, more fully. Because when you open your eyes, when you look around and take in the full picture, you'll discover this is so much more than you ever thought possible.
Megan Duffy's squad, 5-0 start here to quarter number 3. Opening it up to a 25-point lead against Xavier. Lopez, the freshman in front of her bench, tried to feed it into Blackford and poked away by Franny.
And Blackford cannot allow Honninger to reach around and poke that ball away. She's got to get wide in her base and clear Honninger out and give her teammate some space to pass.
On to Nyla, trying to go to work and get her first points of the afternoon. Not happening. Net rankings for the Big East, Chloe. And this says a lot about this conference and how tough it is night in and night out.
Every year it gets tougher, and Marquette has definitely seen that in the past. But this year, I'm really looking forward to seeing these competitions down the line.
And UConn, of course, at the top of the heap, but the Huskies, not the dominant program nationally that they have been in the past, doesn't mean you sleep on them by any means. But they will be the team to beat, as Marquette knows, in the Big East. They fell in Connecticut on New Year's Eve by plenty. Great feed, and Jordan gets the bucket and one. That's significant for another reason, because now Jordan King is 10th all-time on the Marquette career scoring list. She just passed Christine Kennedy with that bucket.
Congratulations to Jordan King here, and look at how strong she goes up there, right underneath the basket. Tries to take the charge now that the women's basketball, doesn't do that line underneath the basket, and does not work. It's a block there for Jordan King.
Jordan, her 139th career start. I mean, she's not an iron man, iron person, right? Just goes out each and every game her entire career.
She's been so special to Marquette since she started. She's been that steady point guard for everyone out there, and she really keeps the team together on and off the court.
Raj through the paint, but Jordan was there to get a piece of it.
And you knew Jordan was going to make the adjustments in the locker room to figure out what exactly do I need to do to score, and there, unfortunately, she got called for the charge.
Here's your all-time leading scorer list at Marquette University. Blockton, of course, leading everybody at over 2,000 points, but moving into the top 10, Ms. King. Bounce feed, and then playing off the contact there nicely was Taylor Smith. Into Carlin, trying to find the handle, Liza. Jump ball, it'll be Xavier basketball.
I don't know about you, Chloe, but sometimes it just seems like Marquette's going a little bit too fast, and we've seen that on some of their turnovers. thus far.
Yeah, in transition there, I think Liza was posting up very strong. Kenzie wanted to get the ball to her, but now Xavier's turning up that pressure. They know that what Liza did in the first half, and now we got to make a better read for that pass.
Megan Duffy, Chloe, might argue that there is no such thing as going too fast. Am I right?
I think pushing the pace is definitely something Marquette wants to focus on.
Lopez too hard off the glass. Here comes Rose. Finds Jordan wide open. 3 on the way. Just not there from outside today for Jordan, but tracked down by Hottinger. Carlin takes a look, drives, Liza scoop and score.
And we knew when you graduated, Chloe, it was going to be really hard to replace you on those boards. But I really think Franny Hottinger has done a nice job. I mean, you weren't a huge flashy player. You just went out there and got the job done and worked hard, and that's what Franny does too.
She's such a huge piece to this team, averaging just over 8 rebounds per game, and it is impressive because she goes and hunts it down. She's not the tallest player on that court, but she might be the one that wants to work the hardest.
Travel call on purpose, and Taylor slow to get up. She hit the deck hard, and her teammates there to help her get up. Trying to walk it off, and Billy Chambers says, come to the bench. She got tangled up in the traffic there, did Purvis. So another turnover on the Musketeers. They have piled up in this basketball game, 21 and counting. Skylar Forbes bounced it off her chin, but regathered to Nkumu. Lee Volker baseline. Forbes gets the rebound.
What's great about that is that Skylar Forbes can come in for Liza and make that difference right there. Just grabbing that offensive rebound is so huge for Marquette to have that off the bench.
And great collapse defense there by Xavier to force Jordan King to commit another charge. And she'll take a seat. Kenzie Hare comes back into the Golden Eagles lineup.
Marquette roster, just 11 players on the roster available as offensive foul called on Xavier. They're actually down to 10 healthy bodies today because Bridget Utberg sitting this one out. So if it looks like Megan Duffy is piling it on, she has no choice. I mean, the roster, the 10 are the 10. And so you're going to play 5 at a time. But you can't go any deeper on the bench when you only got 10 healthy bodies.
There's a lot of banging going on inside. Offensive players trying to get themselves some space in there. They called a hooking foul on Skylar Forbes, and Xavier gets the basketball.
Marquette lead is 28. Lopez, the freshman, with it. Get it to Harris, who squares up. Wants help, finds Raj. Drives on Forbes, cut off by Skylar. Lopez a 3, too hard off the glass. And then Lee Volker, tackle football, foul called on the transfer from Duke. That looked like 52 back in the day, Chloe. Hate to tell you.
You know, being aggressive is always a good thing.
But there was always a smile to come along with it as well, right? I mean, you want to see that aggression out there. And Lee Volker is one of those players that Coach Duffy says she wants to get more playing time and that she needs to keep players like Lee confident to produce when they are in the game.
Raj up top, resetting the offense. Works the screen and an opening and scoop and score.
Good patience there by Raj. She really saw the defender come and then leave to get back to hers, and she takes the open lane.
Xavier's still an uphill climb here, 45-19 as Skylar goes in, tries to jam it in for 2. She gets fouled, she goes to the line. Chloe, I want to go back to what Megan Duffy said at Big East Media Day when we come back here in Milwaukee. It's Marquette 45 and Xavier 19.
Fresh, warm hot dogs. When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Mom! Yeah. So I love
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University, be the difference.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice to make an impact as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right, and most importantly,
To be the change.
to be the change.
All session ticket booklets for the 2024 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament presented by Jeep are now on sale. The booklets provide access to all 10 games of the conference tournament, March 8th through 11th at Sun Arena in Connecticut. Visit BigEast.com for more details. So Chloe Marada, you heard Megan Duffy say it, Big East Media Day, that not one player is going to replace a Chloe Marada. I know you've been watching your former teammates from afar. I think they've done that. I think everybody has just elevated their game to be a little bit better in every category.
Absolutely, and you see it from Kenzie Hare the most, I think. You know, she's improved so much this year with just her confidence in general. You know, I think coming from a freshman to a sophomore, that happens naturally, but Kenzie works extremely hard in the gym to have that output. And then, you know, like I said, they're having some really strong players come off that bench. And then Franny with her aggressiveness to the boards and just doing the little things is always good for Marquette.
You know, one thing I am missing from Coach Duffy is when she used to yell, Chloe! And you would just put your nose to the grindstone and do things better. And you didn't make that mistake again. You never took it personally. You just kept persevering.
Thank you for that, Michelle.
And you know that yell of Chloe for sure.
Yes, I do. If there's one person that knows me as well as my mom does, it's probably Coach Duffy. So she knew when to get into me, when to give me support, and I appreciate her for that.
Pushing all the right buttons as Woods gets fouled on the drive, so Kasia will go to the line. They've kept her in check, just the 1 3-pointer this afternoon.
Yeah, that's surprising because she is their top three-pointing shooter, 9.5 points a game. But again, Chloe, you mentioned that stifling defense from Marquette is really taking away any good looks.
Woods makes the free throws. Marquette lead is still comfy cozy here at 47-21.
But look at the defense that Yulia Raj is putting all over Rose and Kumu. Number 10 is going to be fun to watch in her years at Xavier.
Kate Fez, drive and dish to Skylar Forbes for the easy two.
Great patience by Claire Kafis. You see that she can shoot the outside shot, but when she drives down there, someone steps up right to Skylar Forbes.
There's Woods, gets the green light from 3. And Kumu to Kafes, back to Rose. Skip it to Hare for the triple. Missed everything, but Kafes on the reload. Into Carlin. Liza scores again.
Outstanding.
Long reach paying off.
Outstanding entry pass from Kafes. putting it only where Liza Carlin can get in. There was no help side defense at all from Xavier.
Liza leads everyone in the gym with 15. Harris, Rose bothering her. Four to shoot. Xavier got a launch. Mayo does and hits. Desperate times, Chloe. Just put it up anywhere in the vicinity, right? Good things can happen.
It's a great shot over long Skylar Forbes, especially.
Mayo was here at Marquette for a short time as Mackenzie Hare gets fouled and she'll get 3. Yeah, Mayo was started at Marquette, transferred to Iona where Billy Chambers was the head coach, and then she followed Billy to Cincinnati and Xavier. And you see the closeout there a little late by Lopez.
And she did not give Hare room to come down to finish that shot. But again, it's the balance on the offense and keeping things spread out that has really elevated Marquette to 52.
And one more for Mackenzie. So confident, Chloe. I mean, she had the confidence as a freshman to be that gunner off the bench. Now as a starter, she kind of carried over that same confidence, didn't she?
Absolutely, and I don't think she's forcing it in any way, and that's what I think Mackenzie does such a good job of. You know, she sees when she's open to take her open shots, and now getting to the basket is something she's really improved, and her finishing around the rim is phenomenal. So continue to do what you're doing, Kenzie Hare.
Well, and you mentioned too, Chloe, that defense is so important, and defense turns into opportunities on offense. She's also stepped it up defensively from last year.
Knocked down all the free throws. And then offensive foul call on Xavier.
Now Claire Kefes rotated over to stop the drive, hung in there and took the charge.
Marquette by 30. Winding down quarter number 3 here in Milwaukee. And we got a moving screen foul called.
That was on Rose. She just wasn't set. Little hip check as the defense was coming around. Rose obviously didn't like it because she stood there still and was just like, what are you talking about? Like, this was a good screen.
Hip check, or as Chloe Marada used to call it, good defense, right? Jordan back in for Rose. Raj with the basketball. Vera Cavelli is back in, then the freshman. It's Mayo, and a couple of jumpers here in the third quarter for Neek.
She's finding her rhythm now, 8.7 points per game for the redshirt freshman.
K-Faz, triple doesn't go. And we had Musketeers crashing the board. And then Forbes was in there mixing it up with him, called for the foul.
Yeah, that's a battle you're not going to win, Skylar Forbes. You got 3 Xavier players walling you out. And she just reaches right over Nia Blackford.
So, Chloe, take us back. Someone shooting a 3 from outside. Are you just, as soon as you see the launch, are you just going to box out? Is that your purpose?
I think understanding who you're playing with is a big thing. So, for example, when Kenzie Hare gets the ball, I'm almost knowing that ball's going up before she knows it's going up. And as a rebounder, you have to crash as soon as you hear, you know, that ball go up. And I think that's the most important thing right there.
Blackford to the line. Both teams in the bonus for the rest of the third period here. She split the free throws. Blackford, just that single talent today. Of the healthy bodies, she's their leading scorer, came in at 10 a game. Marquette has put the clamps down on her as Raj gets called for the foul.
She was all over Jordan King and just reached in at that last minute and got called. But Yulia Garcia-Raj is a great pickup for Billy Chambers, the freshman. I like what I see out of her. A lot of raw talent. She's going to grow and develop under Coach Chambers, and she's going to be fun to watch down the road.
Purvis back in, Jordan King to the line.
Jordan with 8 points today, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block.
Rims that one out. Mayo into the front court. Working on King. Little floater baseline up and over everything. Here comes Hare on the push. McKenzie to King. Jordan finishes.
Great run there by Jordan. She recovers. She ended up all the way on the other side of the basket and finished on Marquette's basket.
9 for King. Mayo for 3. Book it. The hot hand for the Musketeers here in the third. And Megan Duffy agrees. Too hot. Timeout called as Marquette leads at 57-30, but Marquette looking to tighten things up in the transition game as we look ahead here in 2024. Next up, back on the road, back out east for the Golden Eagles. And they will travel to New Jersey to face Seton Hall, then back home for a big one against DePaul. And then back out east. Remember this schedule, Chloe? Back and forth at Villanova. And then the rematch with UConn on January 23rd. So Marquette, Chloe, they got blitzed by UConn. And Megan Duffy said, yeah, it came hot, heavy, and fast. But the second go-around, you can change a lot of things. You can make adjustments and make that a basketball game.
Absolutely, and if it's one thing that I know about Marquette, it's about how hard they work after not just losses, but wins as well. And, you know, they're going to continue to improve. They always like to play UConn at home. The game comes sooner than it seems, as it did last year, you know? So I'm excited for that matchup.
Well, you guys beat UConn last year. How incredible was that?
I think I'll always remember that. I probably talk about it a little too much around my friends and family because of how exciting that moment was for us. Yes, I'll always remember that.
So this matchup on the 23rd, it's going to be a packed house. Because one of the top freshmen in the Big East, KK Arnold, will be here playing. She's a product of Germantown, just right around your neck of the woods where you grew up in Mequon, going to Homestead High School, about 30 minutes north of here.
This segment brought to you by the North Shore Conference.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good one, Bob.
Kenzie Hare, drive and kick to Jordan for 3. No. Hottinger cleans it up. Franny goes up, rolls it off. It'll stay with Marquette. 7 seconds left.
And there's that workhorse mentality of Franny Hottinger. I mean, she was the Patriot Conference Player of the Year last year when she was at Lehigh, and she was their top scorer for Lehigh. And here she doesn't have to score a lot. Coach Duffy's like, just get in there, get the boards, be a leader on the floor, and do those little things for us.
And she scores there to end the third period. Franny's bucket makes it a Marquette lead of 32. Golden Eagles 62, Xavier 30. Fourth quarter, back in Milwaukee when we return.
Fresh, warm hot dogs. When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh, warm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University. Be the difference.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice to make an impact as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right, and most importantly,
To be the change.
To be the change.
As the college basketball season heats up, the Big East Conference has announced its plan for a 13-stop mobile tour. Each tour stop will host basketball fans for 2 hours of pregame entertainment and activities including Big East shoot-around shows, free throw challenges, spirit squad, mascot appearances, and a chance to take photos alongside the Big East Championship Trophy. The Fan Fest-style road trip kicks off with a visit to Cincinnati ahead of Xavier's tip-off against UConn on Wednesday, January 10th. For complete details and scheduling information, go to bigeast.com/road trip today. Fourth period underway here in Milwaukee. Bob Raynard, Michelle Griffin-Wenzel, Chloe Marada with you courtside here at the Al. As Hottinger goes in, rolls it off the rim.
You're looking at the stats right now. Coach Chambers has to be excited with her bench. 15 points. They are outscoring Marquette's bench right now. One of the high points for Xavier.
Yeah, when you're mixing and matching your starters and your bench and trying to find roles, as that'll be a bucket and one for Taylor Purvis. You're looking for players, Chloe, who in games like this want to keep pushing, keep forcing the coaches to make those decisions going forward.
Absolutely, and that's a great take, downhill drive by Purvis. We haven't seen much of that from Xavier this entire game, you know, getting downhill, getting to the paint, and being strong with their finishes.
Purvis coming off the bench, 4 points, but the bright spot has been Zanique Mayo leading her team with 8.
But Marquette keeping Xavier at arm's length here in this basketball contest. Hard to believe it started with Xavier leading at 8-0. Megan Duffy called a timeout, talked to the troops, they adjusted. Hare through the lane, finds Cracknell, and Abby lost it in the way. Back the other way, Lopez. Purvis directing traffic. Blackford looking for her first field goal and finally gets it.
Another downhill drive by Xavier. And I thought Marquette had it back the other way in transition, but great hustle by Blackwell to get that stop.
If Blackwell could play consistently today like she has so far this season, she would definitely have more than 2 points. She's just having an off game.
Yeah, their leading scorer of the healthy bodies, leading rebounder, block shots defensively. Marquette has frustrated number 4 this afternoon, to be sure. Volker squares up and hits it.
Nice job coming off that screen by Carlin. Volker gets herself the space and the confidence to take the shot. That's something Coach Duffy wants to see more out of her.
First 2 for Volker. Lopez turns and fires and banks in the 3. Didn't call it, but we'll give it to her. Lopez with 8. Carlin long pass to Hare in the corner. Purvis tracks it down.
Yeah, Marquette struggling from the three-point line. Hitting 5 for 19, 26%.
Blackford, scoop and score.
Good attack there by Blackford. She's been looking at that defense and saying, you know what, I'm going to go to the basket. Something she might have thought of in the first half would have helped her.
And Megan Duffy sees what Chloe was talking about and says, we're going to talk about it, troops. 7:19 to go here in the basketball game. Marquette leads at 64-40.
Fresh warm hot dogs. When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Mom!
Become who you're truly meant to be. Marquette University, be the difference.
We are not just student athletes.
We are advocates for a better world. Our platform extends beyond the basketball court.
And we will use it to be the change. To champion inclusion and break down barriers.
On our campuses.
And in our communities.
It's more than a game for us.
It's a call to action.
To use our collective voice to make an impact as Big East student athletes.
To stand up for what is right, and most importantly,
to be the change.
To be the change.
It's Marquette by 24 here in the fourth. Go back to the preseason, and what did the coaches think on how things would shape up and shake out here in the Big East? Of course, UConn getting the nod to win the conference again this season, but Creighton right behind and Marquette right behind the Blue Jays. We've got Villanova with some different personnel, and after that, I think there's a lot of shifting after the top three that a lot of teams can go up and down. And once you start to creep up on the other three, all of a sudden you can start making your move.
Yeah, I could see a lot of upsets coming around in the second half of the season because, you know, these teams are very tough. And you saw it with St. John's and Marquette. And, you know, going out to Seton Hall next for Marquette is going to be a difficult task for them.
Was there a particular place in the Big East that you just dreaded going to and playing? Like it just wasn't your favorite?
Wow, that's a good question. You know, I think about the ones that were my favorite to start, but you know, sometimes when there's not as many fans in the stands, it can be a little bit more difficult. Xavier plays at a very big arena, which I love it because it's cool, but it's hard to fill, right? So sometimes those are difficult games to play in, but you got to create your own energy.
Jordan King creating there to draw the foul. One more coming for the senior.
Up to that free throw, 84% from the charity stripe for Marquette.
And the lead is 25 here. Marquette going to get back in the win column here, go to 13-2 overall, and even the mark at 2-2 in the Big East. Raj with it, off to Purvis. Shot clock again winding down. Mayo got to go. Lopez got to shoot and does.
And you can see after that timeout, you know, Xavier's not getting into the paint in that possession. I know Coach Duffy probably emphasized, you know, guarding your yard, you know, getting out and not letting those girls get to the paint.
Lee Volker for two, the other way.
A nice high arcing shot from Lee Volker. She'll be one to watch again, a junior transfer from Duke, but she's going to earn her playing time for sure.
Yeah, Chloe, from the outside looking in, people are going to say, well, Coach Duffy calling the timeout, you're up by 24. But she saw things, and she's not going to change as a head coach. She saw things that needed correction, and that's why she burned the TO.
Absolutely, and that's why Marquette keeps improving, because you're not going to take your foot off the gas in these type of games. You're going to keep pushing and make your team better.
That foul called on Forbes, her fourth. And Purvis to inbound. To Lopez, catch and shoot three, banks it in. Is that twice now?
That's twice.
Yeah.
But she also takes a little stutter step when she gets set to shoot, and sometimes officials are going to call that as a travel.
Great ball swing there to get it to Forbes for two.
Chloe, what do you like about Skylar Forbes as a freshman coming into Megan Duffy's lineup?
I think particularly she knows her role. You know, she comes off the bench and she can see that Liza or Franny, whoever she's subbing in for, rebounds the ball. They're aggressive, you know, and Skylar doesn't not do that. She comes out, she knows she has to rebound, she knows she has to use her length defensively, and then offensively she keeps it simple. You know, she's aggressive going to the basket, and she's a great finisher.
On the drive, they called Mayo for the foul. Kumu gets it in, and another charge. This one called against Marquette and slow to get up after absorbing it.
Is that Purvis on the ground? No. Blackford.
Oh, that's Blackford.
Yeah. That's got to be 6 or 7 charges, most of them being called in the second half.
That's a Chloe Marada game. Right in your wheelhouse.
A lot of moving screens in this game in general.
Take another look. Look at Blackford up top. Oh.
Oh, she got elbowed by Skylar Forbes.
Yeah, inadvertent.
Yes.
But the officials are going to go take a look at this. Going to head to the monitors. Again, nothing blatant with a 69-43 game as Skylar was just looking for position, but they'll take a look and again, watch the left of your screen. Forbes and Blackford. Skylar's got the elbow up, trying to get position, and it just clips Nyla on the side of the tempo, and then down she goes.
And that's Skylar Forbes' 5th foul.
The officials over at the monitor. Denise Brooks, Eric Bruton, Julie Cromanhook working this Big East contest this afternoon.
And with out-of-bounds plays, there's a lot of movement and timing to it. And, you know, like you said, Forbes just trying to get through the traffic and kind of do a swim move through there and just clipped her.
Musketeers, their only win this season came against SIUE back in December, 68-43. So they will be still searching for their first win in the Big East when they host St. John's on January 9th. They get Seton Hall to follow, and then on the road to Chicago and then Washington, D.C. And again, Billy Chambers said, hey, no one's holding their heads down. They're not pouting. They're working hard in practice. And again, she knew, Chloe, this was going to be a rebuild coming in. You got to see who buys in these tough basketball games when you move forward.
So important to buy in, and especially to your coach. You know, she's going to give them messaging. She's a great coach, and these girls are going to buy in. They're going to learn how to play together and create that chemistry, and they will eventually get that.
So after review, it was ruled just a common foul on Forbes, but as Michelle pointed out, that's the 5th on Skylar, so she'll sit the rest of this ball game out.
You know, and for Xavier, it's been 2 of their freshmen and then the redshirt freshmen, Mayo, and then Raj and Lopez. I mean, it's a group of youngsters, along with Taylor Purvis, who's a senior, who have made some good adjustments and have done some good things out there for the Musketeers.
Mayo hounded by Nkumu. Again, shot clock winding down, 10 to shoot. Mayo works the screen. Nothing there. Lopez, catch and shoot 3. This time can't bank it in. And Volker fights and gets it. To King. Out to Nkumu. Rose. Little drive in the paint and blocking foul called on the Musketeers.
Great attack there by Rose and Kumu. I think Jordan found her on the sideline. That was 2 charges Xavier tried to take in that possession. They didn't get either of them, but Marquette continued to go aggressively to that paint, and that's what they like to see.
And that was a strong pass out to the top of the key from Jordan as she was underneath the basket.
Rose and Kumu just stop and pop there. A nice little floater over Xavier's defender.
Mayo got there a tad late. Rose knocks down the first. Marquette's assist leader, one of the top assist dishers in the Big East.
And I just noticed that Rose is playing with her right hand taped. Looks like her first 2 fingers must have gotten a little jammed, and it's not always easy playing with taped fingers.
Occupational hazard. 3 ball, and that goes for Abby Schubert. Xavier finding some rhythm from outside the arc here in the 4th period. Interior feed, Hallie Weiss missed the bucket.
I like that rebound from Marquette just to push it in transition. Nice, easy seal from Hallie Weiss. She didn't finish it that time, but that's a great look.
Blackford down the lane, Hottinger all over it, but Blackford stays the course, and Nyla puts it in.
It's good to see after getting clocked in the eye that Blackford's out there battling still, even though Xavier's down 22.
Franny looking for the handoff. Off to King. Weiss to Nkumu. Great ball movement. And then Volker, the jumper, doesn't go.
You could see how many times there was 2 feet in the paint by Marquette right there. You know, drive in, 2 feet in the paint, drive and kick. And that happened almost with 3 different players at that time. That's great offense.
And Kumu on the foul there.
You know, and that's one thing when I was coaching high school basketball way back in the day. You know, we used to play, and I'm sure you did too, Chloe, you got to take 5 passes before you can take a shot. Even if you have an open look, you got to keep moving that ball around and get in 5 passes. It teaches discipline, and it teaches court awareness. Nice block shot by Volker.
Yeah, Lee tracing all the way to get the swat as Carlin checks back in.
That Lee Volker just trailing her the whole way, does not allow Raj to get into that paint, pushes her outside, keeps her body straight up, and does not commit a foul.
Carlin got the steal. To Nkumu with a purpose. Hallie Weiss, offensive rebound, and scores it.
Great hustle there from Hallie Weiss. She was prepared for that rebound.
So Weiss in the scorebook as well. Everyone for Marquette has now scored in this basketball game.
Well, these are critical minutes for Coach Duffy's bench, especially for Hallie Weiss. You know, you haven't seen much time in Big East games at all, and you want to come in and you want your presence heard.
Another steal, defense clamping down.
That pressure from Marquette is so important. I mean, look, we have 2.5 minutes left in the game, and they're trapping on the sideline. They're still being aggressive. That's great team defense right there.
Foul call on Lopez. We'll send Nkumu to the line.
They're talking about somebody that's really improved from their freshman year to their senior year. I mean, Rose Nkumu, defense has really stepped it up. She's leading the team in charges. She takes control of the basketball and runs that offense, but she's really starting to get to the rim a lot more than she did her first couple of years here.
She's that quarterback, Chloe. It's important to have that, isn't it?
Absolutely. Her voice has gotten stronger and stronger over the years, and the team really listens to her.
Blackford in traffic, and the paint scores. So she was quiet for most of this game. Now up to 9 points. Lee Volker will go to the line.
And one thing that helped Volker get to that line is Hallie Weiss. She kind of screened out the defender and opened up that lane for Volker to make her move.
Lee, 2 years at Duke. Change of scenery here in Milwaukee. Split the free throws. And she's going to get another one. Get a lane violation on Xavier. So it's like the old NBA, 3 to make 2. Man, worked. You're too young, Chloe. No idea what I'm talking about. 3 to make 2, what?
A nice hesitation move by Lopez.
Good looking freshman. Volker the other way. Turning. And found in Kumu. Kefez into Carlin. Liza gathers. Goes to work. Fadeaway in the paint is pretty.
That's such a great move by Liza Carlin, and especially to catch the ball right there. As a post player, you have to remember, you know, possession over position is what we say. And, you know, Liza Carlin gave up her position right there to save the possession and had a nice turnaround jumper in the middle of the lane.
But also keeping her composure to stay with it and finish. And that is something that Carlin has been able to do as she has matured wearing number 32.
Shot clock at 3. And the 3 is off the mark. Shot clock violation again. Abby Cracknell in to finish this one up for the Golden Eagles. And Carlin gets a breather for the final time. She'll probably go hit the books, Chloe, engineering major, and just as hard-nosed about that as she is crafting her basketball.
Absolutely. School is very important to Liza Carlin, and she's good at it, so it helps.
We'll be all working for Liza someday. That's just a given. As Kefez delivers the triple.
Good to see Claire Kefez today. She's been all over the place with assist, a charge, a couple of threes, mid-range. It's great to see for Marquette.
That'll be Harris called for the wipe away.
Nice defense by Abby Cracknell. Not allowing the Musketeers to get into that basket, holding her own, drawing the charge.
Three ball rims out. Hallie Weiss, the putback.
Good control there. Hallie gathers her balance, goes up with the left hand. Great finish.
Final seconds of this one. Slow start by the Golden Eagles for about a minute. And then the next 39, it was all Marquette. And it's final, 81-52. And with the victory, Megan Duffy notches victory number 100 in her 5th season as the head coach of the Marquette Golden Eagles. 139 and counting. Congratulations to Coach Duffy as the Golden Eagles win at 81-52. First things first, Chloe, 100 victories. You were around here for all but 13. That's impressive by what Coach Duffy has done in a short time.
Very impressive by Coach Duffy, and she works extremely hard, her and her staff, to get those wins. You know, winning one game in the Big East, winning one game in general is very difficult, so credit to her effort and her staff for putting together 100 at Marquette.
Michelle, as I mentioned, this game was 8-0, and then Marquette just stepped on the gas, didn't they?
It was a whole team effort. I mean, the bench play from Hallie Weiss, Skylar Forbes, Claire Kefez really coming in and getting some critical minutes. But it was under Jordan King and Liza Carlin, their leadership, just getting them to that victory, 81-52.
That'll do it from the Al McGuire Center here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on the campus of Marquette University. The final score, Marquette 81, Xavier 52. For Michelle Griffin-Wenzel, for Chloe Marada, and our entire terrific crew here in Milwaukee, I'm Bob Brainerd saying so long. You've been watching Big East Women's College Basketball on Flow Sports and the Big East Digital Network.
Fresh, warm hot dogs. When I'm not selling hot dogs, I invest in a fund that advances innovations like robotics.
Fresh, warm hot dogs straight out of my torso. One for you, one for you. Oh, you're a messy one.
Cool, right? So cool.
Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ, a fund that gives you access to NASDAQ 100 innovations.
Hot dogs. Fresh farm hot dogs.
Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risk, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com.
In the world of athletes, where every move counts, setbacks can feel like a mountain to climb. At Rothman Orthopedics, our team of top-notch orthopedic experts are here to get you back to doing what you love, because we specialize in you. We're not just about recovery, we're about rewriting your story. With specialized physicians and unwavering support, we help you rise above adversity. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic provider of athletes.
Mom! Yeah. So I left.